So class example 3, are the following directors of Coke Limited independent of Coke Limited? So Director A, the Chief Audit Executive, the fact that he's got executive as his job title without the word non in front means no, he cannot be independent because he's employed by the entity and therefore cannot be independent. So that's no. Director B, a non-executive director who is a property valuator, and Coke is one of his insignificant clients. So from his perspective, if they are insignificant, I would say yes. From the Coke's perspective, what he should be doing for them is an insignificant role or a non-recurring role. And if you look at Coke as their business, their industry, they aren't in the property industry, so valuations wouldn't be something that happen often, and therefore we would say it would be an insignificant role, and so yes, he is independent. Director C owns 4% shareholding, so he's got securities. However, they are nothing in the bigger scheme of his earnings, so yes, they're not material to him, and therefore he would be independent. And Director D, newly reappointed as a non-executive director after resigned as the financial director last year, so no, because it's within 3 years that he was an executive director. Okay, let's go have a look at our Principle 7. I also haven't done Principle 6, so we'll just quickly touch on that, and you'll see why I haven't done it, because I feel like it can filter into your Principle 7, and then we'll work through Principle 7 in King. So Principle 6, guys, I haven't actually gone through much in here. Just to note that for disclosure, number of meetings held must be disclosed, and if they're satisfied with their responsibilities. 7 was where we focused, which was the composition of the board. Now you can see majority, independent, non-executive, the 2 executive directors that they should have, the diversity of the board. Something I added here is that they must have targets for race and gender, and they should be trying to achieve that. They should rotate, but they should stagger their rotation so that they aren't left with directors who don't have diversity in race, age, knowledge at one point in time on the board. Succession plans for all of your members. Nomination approved by the governing body, the nomination of it. However, the election or appointment is at the AGM by your shareholders. Okay, just also have a look here. Specific information that non-execs need to give is that all their other commitments, to make sure they've got sufficient time to be able to do their non-executive roles. And then we've got everything that deals with independence. So the fact that they have to declare if they've got conflict of interest and declare annually their financial and economic interests. And then what influences independence, we've got them all over here, 1 through R. And then we've got our disclosure for the board. So guys, just note, paragraph 30, disclosure of the board. They have to disclose their targets for gender and race. They have to disclose their composition and whether they're satisfied with the diversity of their composition, qualifications of members, how long they've served. And then we get to the chair. Independent, non-executive, and they must still appoint that lead independent non-executive. And the lead will take place when the chair has a conflict of interest. He will also lead the performance appraisal of the chair. Just note, the CEO cannot be the chair. Okay, we will look at the committees that the chair can actually be on when we get to our committees, and just to note the disclosure for your chair over there. The remuneration, 14, principle 14, just so we can have a quick look here. Board is responsible for the governance of remuneration, so they need to approve the policy that was developed by the remuneration committee. And then, if it's a company, the shareholders will have a vote, but you need to refer below for the details. What needs to be in the remuneration policy, all the different types of remuneration, and then we get to the report. This is the disclosure of the remuneration policy. We've got the 3 elements: background, overview, and implementation. And then you can see background, what's influenced them, where they've focused, how they've made their decisions, whether they believe that they have achieved their objectives. The overview, they need to have all the different elements of remuneration, the performance measures that are used, and then finally the implementation for each member. They need to have the detail making up the remuneration. Voting on remuneration, you can see only for companies. Your non-executive directors' fees are approved by special resolution of your shareholders. This is in line with Section 66 of the Companies Act. Then the next point differs from the Companies Act because the shareholders get to pass a non-binding advisory vote at the AGM on the remuneration policy. Non-binding advisory means that they don't have authority for it. They just get to comment and have an opinion on it, but it goes ahead once the directors have approved it, like we saw above. Okay, but then just to note here that if 75% or more don't vote in favor, there's additional disclosure. There it is.